Oh, get right to it. Betwaboo, beautiful people. Betwaboo, betwaboo. Top of the day. It is another day. It is another Sunday. It is Sunday, January the 26th, 2020. We are on day 55 of year 2. Today we're reading Deuteronomy 10, 11, and 12. Lisa, top of the day, girl. Hey, girl, hey. Let me take some of my orange juice. Okay, y'all. Let's go ahead and get started. Deuteronomy chapter 10. At that time, Yahuwah said unto me, Hew thee up 2 tablets of stones like unto the first, and come up unto me unto the mount, and make thee an ark of wood, and I will write on the tables the words that were put in the first table which you broke, and thou shalt put them in the ark. And I made an ark of shittim wood, and hewed 2 tables of stones unlike the first, and went up unto the mount, having the 2 tablets in my hand. And he wrote on the tablets, according to the first writing, the 10 commandments which Yahuwah spake unto you in the mount out of the midst of fire in the day of the assembly. And Yahuwah gave them unto me. And I turned myself and came down. You okay? Okay. Yes, it's a beautiful Sunday. And I turned myself and came down from the mount and put the tables in the ark which I had made, and there they be, as Yahuwah commanded me. And the children of Yisrael took their journey from Berah of the children of Jachin to Mosera. There Aaron died, and there he was buried, and Eleazar his son ministered in the priest's office in his stead. From thence they journeyed unto Gugodah, and from Gugodah to Jotbath, a land of rivers and waters. At that time Yahuwah separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, to stand before Yahuwah, to minister unto him, and to bless his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren. Yahuwah is his inheritance, according to Yahuwah thy God promised him. And I stayed in the mount according to the first time 40 days and 40 nights. And Yahuwah hearkened unto me at that time also, and Yahuwah would not destroy thee. And Yahuwah said unto me, Arise, take thy journey before the people, that they may go in to possess the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give unto them. And now, Yisrael, what doth Yahuwah thy God require of thee, but to fear him, thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve Yahuwah thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of Yahuwah and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is Yahuwah's thy God, the earth also and all that is therein. Only Yahuwah had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is unto this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For Yahuwah your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward. He doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and the widow, and love the stranger, in giving him food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear Yahuwah thy God, thou shalt serve him, and to him thou shalt cleave, and swear by his name. He is thy praise, and he is thy God, and he hath done for thee these great and terrible things which thine eyes have seen. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons, and now Yahuwah thy God hath made thee as the stars of heaven for multitude. Deuteronomy chapter 11. Therefore thou shalt love Yahuwah thy God, and keep his charge and his statutes and his judgments and his commandments always. And know ye this day, for I speak not with your children, which have not known, and which have not seen the chastisement of Yahuwah your God, his greatness and his mighty hand and his stretched out arm, his miracles and his acts which he did in the midst of Egypt, unto Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and unto all his land. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You want to finish eating? And what he did unto the army of Egypt, unto their horses, and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea overflow them as they pursued after you, and how Yahuwah have destroyed them unto this day. And what he did unto you in the wilderness until ye came into this place, and what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their households and their tents, and all the substance that was in their possession in the midst of all of Israel. But your eyes... You okay? All right. But your eyes have seen all the great acts of Yahuwah which he did. Therefore ye shall keep all the commandments which I go. Therefore ye shall keep all the commandments which I command you this day, that ye may be strong and go in and possess the land whither ye go to possess it, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which Yahuwah swore unto your fathers, to give unto them and to their seed a land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land whither thou goest in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from whence ye came out, where thou sowest thy seed and watered it with thy foot as a garden of herbs. But the land whither ye go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh the water of the rain of heaven, a land which Yahuwah thy God careth for. The eyes of Yahuwah thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year. And it shall come to pass, if you will hearken diligently unto my commandments which I command you unto this day, to love Yahuwah your God, and to serve him with all your heart, with all your soul, that I will give you the rain of your land in his due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thine oil. And I will send grass in thy fields for cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And then Yahuwah's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, lest ye perish quickly from off the good land which Yahuwah giveth you. Therefore ye shall lay these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them as a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes, and ye shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou rise up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house, and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied in the days of your children, in the land which Yahuwah sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments, which I command you, to do them, to love Yahuwah your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, then Yahuwah will drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea shall your coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before you, for Yahuwah your God shall lay the fear of you upon the dread upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he hath said unto you. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if ye obey the commandments of Yahuwah your God, which I command you this day. And a curse if you will not obey the commandments of Yahuwah your God, but turn aside out of the way, which I command you unto this day, and go after other gods which ye have not known. Isaiah. If you get one of those orange packets and put it in your here, I'll do it. Get one of those. You don't have to put it in there. It'll make it a little fizzy, but it'll help. It's vitamin C, but it's good. If you don't want it, hand it to me so I can put it in mine. Grab me one of them. Give me the box. Let me see. The orange box. Yep. There's one left. That's fine. If you don't want one, just give it to me. Thank you. Y'all doing all this coughing. Y'all ain't about to have me hemmed up. I'm supposed to hear spray with Lysol again. They getting better, y'all. They getting better. See, she the one to sit on my lap. Vitamin C. You can put it in your bottled water, but I got a whole big cup of orange juice. Pour it right on in here. emergency 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. You can put it in your water. You can put it in orange juice. You can put it in anything you want to put it in, as long as you put it inside of you. Let me stir it with my finger. But it does. Make it. If you put it in orange juice, it makes your orange juice taste like an orange fizzy drink. All right. Okay. Please cough into your arm, Isaiah. And it shall come to pass. Yeah, it's good. I wish I would have bought some a few days ago before they started all this hacking. And it shall come to pass. Zay, go ahead and take a sip of it. And it shall come to pass when Yahuwah thy God hath brought thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal. And are they not on the other side of Jordan by the way where the sun goeth down in the land of Canaan, in the land of the Canaanites which dwell in the Champaign over against Gilgal, beside the plains of Moreh? For ye shall pass over Jordan and go in to possess the land which Yahuwah your God giveth you. Ye shall possess it and dwell therein. And ye shall observe and do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. All right, y'all, last chapter for the day, Deuteronomy chapter 12. Last chapter. These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land which Yahuwah thy God, the God of thy fathers, give thee to possess it all the days ye shall live upon the earth. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills and upon every green tree. And ye shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire. And ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods and destroy the names of them out of that place. Ye shall not do so unto Yahuwah your God, but unto the place which Yahuwah your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitation shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come. And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and your tithes, and heave offerings of your hand, and your vows, and your freewill offerings, and the firstlings of your herds and of your flocks. And there you shall eat before Yahuwah your God, and ye shall rejoice in all that ye put your hand unto, ye and your households, wherein Yahuwah thy God hath blessed thee. Ye shall not do after the things that we do here this day, every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. For ye are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which Yahuwah your God giveth you. But when you are go over Jordan and dwell in the land which Yahuwah your God giveth you to inherit, and when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that ye dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which Yahuwah your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. And we know that place is in Jerusalem. We'll see it in quite a few other places as we continue to read, that he put his name upon Jerusalem. Let's see. There shall be a place which Yahuwah your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither ye shall bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, and the heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which ye vow unto Yahuwah. And ye shall rejoice before Yahuwah your God, ye and your sons and your daughters, and your men servants and your maid servants, and the Levite that is within your gates, for as much as he hath no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest, but in the place which Yahuwah shall choose of thy tribes thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, and there thou shalt do all that I command thee. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, according to the blessing of Yahuwah thy God, which he hath given thee. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof. Now, listen, right here, when it says the unclean and the clean may eat thereof, it's not talking about you may eat unclean meat. It's talking about people who are unclean and clean may eat of the offerings that you cook in your land. I just want to bring that out because I saw it before, and the way it's worded here, it make it seem like Yahuwah said you can go eat the unclean and the clean meat. No, he's talking about people. He said the people who are unclean and those who are clean may eat what you cook within your gates. Not in the place that he put his name, but within your gates and your land, everybody may partake in the meals that you cook. The clean people and those who are unclean, whether they be unclean because of their sight, the women for their monthly cycle or whatever, something to happen, and you unclean until evening, everybody may eat of the meal that you cook within your gates, right? Okay. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart. Only ye shall not eat the blood, ye shall pour it upon the earth as water. Thou mayest not eat within the gates the tithe of thy corn, or of thy wine, or of thy oil, or of the firstlings of thy herds, or of thy flock, nor any of the vows which thou vowest, nor thy freewill offerings, or heave offering of thine hand. But thou must eat them before Yahuwah thy God in the place which Yahuwah thy God shall choose. Thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates. And thou shalt rejoice before Yahuwah thy God in all that thou puttest thy hands unto. Take heed unto thyself that thou forsake not the Levite as long as thou live upon the earth. When Yahuwah thy God shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh, thou mayest eat flesh whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. If the place which Yahuwah thy God have chosen to put his name there be too far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy herd and of thy flock which Yahuwah hath given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. Even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so shall thou eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. The unclean people and the clean people alike shall eat of them. It probably would have been better if they put people or men and women. It's not like I just said before, it's not saying that you can eat of the unclean and clean meat. It's those people who are unclean and clean. Everybody get to eat what's being cooked. Verse 23, only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life within the flesh. Thou shalt not eat it, thou shalt pour it upon the earth as water. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of Yahuwah. Only the holy things which thou hast and thy vows shalt thou take, and go into the place which Yahuwah shall choose. And thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, the flesh and blood, upon thy altar of thy God, and the blood of the sacrifice shall be poured out upon the altar of Yahuwah thy God, and thou shalt eat the flesh. Observe to hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee forever, when thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of Yahuwah thy God. When Yahuwah thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwelleth in their land, take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. Thou shalt not do so unto Yahuwah thy God, for every abomination to Yahuwah which he hateth have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. What thing soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto, nor diminish from it. And that is our reading for today, beautiful people. That was Deuteronomy 10, 11, and 12. It is Sunday, day 55, year 2, January 26, 2020. All right, beautiful people. We done. That was about almost 15 minutes. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do this lesson found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace or his wholeness. Everything that concerns us, may he continue to keep. All right, y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see you in the morning. Peace.